So let's be careful. I like the lady who said money can bring her love, joy. I hope she's referring to things that are within her, love and joy within her, not to buy love, because you can never buy love. But if it is for you to feel love, that's another matter, because you are using the money to do something that makes you feel love. If you notice, when people are happy or joyful, they become very generous. They see somebody and they say, oh, I'm in such a good mood. Here, take 100 cedis, take 500 cedis. They become generous. They start to share. That's some of the things, that's the energy behind having money. It changes you, it empowers you to create change. You start to even feel for other people. Let me change your status. Let me get you a shop instead of a kiosk, and so forth and so on. So money is an energy, just like any other asset, like land, like any other asset, property. It empowers you to create change. And therefore, none of us should think of money as just a piece of paper or on a card, digital, or so. No, it's an energy. And that's why we discussed earlier, how you treat it so that it gives you more. It keeps giving you. It becomes an energy that keeps giving you. It doesn't dry up. How do you treat money? We've talked about the way sometimes we abuse money. We insult money. In Ghana, you hear some Ghana women say, "Shika here, fle." And that's, if they had money, they would be A, B, and C. Because they don't have money, they are wearing tattered clothes, and then they will insult money. And I'm sure in many different languages and dialects, there are many ways that people insult money. But money does not like to be insulted. The more you insult it, the further it goes away from you. Let's even check how we keep our notes and our coins in our purse. Do we crumple the money and stick it in our petticoats, in our brassiere, in sweaty places? Or do we lay it neatly in our purse and the coins go in the right place and the cards go in the right place? You'll be surprised that the way you treat money will determine how money stays with you or multiplies for you. So let's treat money well, because it's an energy. It carries its own power. How do you generate this money on a sustainable basis? And I know that no matter how much transformation of the mind has taken place, there are certain people who, for them, I just want to see the money. Money, money, money. And that is, and I want to give them an example of how it's not all about money. There was a very rich man not long ago who even had a program which song, the signature tune was "Money, Money, Money," da 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 da, and had this big program on TV internationally. He put it out that he was a rich man. He went into politics. And he actually became a president. He was the president of a superpower nation. But we all saw how it was all not about money, but it was about this. He didn't have the mentality of a leader. He couldn't sustain that power that he wanted so much. In fact, we realized that even the money, he couldn't manage it well. He had been bankrupt many times, and he was not a good leader. Anyway, 4 years of democracy took him out. So you get to know that it's not all about money, but it's about your energy and how you treat money as a spirit also, how you treat it well, how you are kind and loving to people. Because having money is all about people. Immediately you have money, if you're in a good mood, you want to share with other people. If you are in a good mood, it's your birthday, you want to throw a party. A party is not for ghosts, it's for others to come and eat and drink with you. It's always about sharing. So money always goes with sharing, and those who hoard it become stingy, become tight, they become lonely, they have no friends. Therefore, money, we know, is not to be made static. It's a dynamic thing, it's energy, it's spirit. It must flow. That's why we call it cash flow. Cash flows in, cash flows out. It must move, receiving, giving. There are two sides to it at all times. It's an energy that must move. It cannot be stagnant. And when you try and stagnate it, that's where the problems will come. When you are stingy, when you don't want to give, that's where the problems will come. So let's go
when you pile up and you withhold, then.
So how do we generate money on a sustainable basis? Because I don't think any of us ladies want to be a flash in the pan rich woman. We want to be wealthy for the long haul, for the time that we're on earth, and be able to leave a legacy.
Yes.
As part of the mind exercise, how do we want to approach generating wealth? Is it from a point of fear, or is it from a point of love? When it's from a point of fear, we call that unconscious approach. And when it's from a point of love, we call that a conscious approach. So we all know that in life, we attract what we feel. We attract what we feel. So what do you want to attract, ladies? Tonight, as you're thinking about wealth, what do you want to attract? Put money out of the equation and just tell us what you want to attract. And I believe that when we run the workshop, we'll have one-on-one with some ladies, because this is so customized, so unique to each one. And we'll go through the steps of achieving what you want.
When you say, what do you want to attract? So for instance, can you say you want to attract financial independence?
Yes.
The ability not to earn money without working for it, as in residual income.
Yes, you can. Active income. Financial independence is a real goal.
So that can be one of the goals.
Definitely. It's a real goal that you want to be financially independent. You don't want to rely on anyone to have to give you. It doesn't mean that you are disconnecting from gifts, or you are disconnecting from someone showing you love. It means that for your basic necessities, you don't want to go begging. You don't want to ever have to go against your spirit, which does not feel like begging to get something from someone. For example, there are people who don't mind selling their bodies, selling their conscience to get money from another person. There are those who do, and they find it very difficult to be how do we call those people who just praise singers? They have to tell you the truth. For example, Charlotte cannot even be a praise singer if she tried. So she cannot even sell her praises. No matter how much she loved you or you love her, she's going to tell you the truth. And because of that, you may cut her off, but that won't stop her. So she definitely needs her financial independence, so she doesn't go begging anyone for her basic needs. So financial independence is something that you can attract depending on how you approach life. So let's go to the approaches. Let's start with the first one, which is fear. Fear-based approach to wealth. What do these fears look like? Some of you are wondering, what is Mona talking about? One, inability to meet basic needs, food, clothing, shelter, basically extreme poverty. Some of us have gone through that before, and some of us haven't, or some have just seen it, but some have actually experienced it, and they know what it's like. They know when they have to wait for someone to dish food for them to eat, otherwise they won't eat that day. They know how somebody will have to give them their old clothing to wear, otherwise they will in as it were, tattered clothes. Or even where to sleep. We see people sleeping at bus stops. We see people sleeping right out on the streets. In fact, in Ghana, we have our kayaye, the women who carry pans in the market, who sleep outside in Jamestown, under the skies, and they get raped and all that. They don't sleep there because they love to sleep there, but they don't have a place or a shelter to stay or sleep. So abject poverty, and that in itself is frightening. because of that fear, they do things that you and I may not do because we don't have that fear. We are not afraid of what to eat tomorrow or what to wear or where to sleep. But their fear motivates them to do things that ordinarily no human being would want to do. So fear-based approach to gathering wealth is wrong. Another one is being viewed as a failure for not being able to have enough to care for others. So somebody will say, Charlotte doesn't even look after her mother, and her mother is complaining, and she doesn't even do this. And for you, that is a major achievement. I must look after my mother. I must look after my family. I feel bad that I can't do that. Because of that, I'll do any and everything out of fear of people chastising me or labeling me a ne'er-do-well. So out of fear, you may take a job that ordinarily is not the kind of job you want to do. You may travel to Dubai or to the Middle East to go and be a maid and then get beaten and raped and realize that, oh, I should have just stayed at home. It becomes a sad story. So many things, and we know in our hearts what some of those things are. Another one is shame of not being like the Joneses. That's the one for those who have all their basic. They meet Maslow's basic at the bottom of the triangle, but now they want the extra. My VW is not nice. I want a Jaguar. I want a Bentley. I want to be like this person, like that person. And when we go out, everybody is driving a Mercedes. I'm the only one in a Beetle. So I am ashamed. I'll make excuses not to go out. I won't meet with my friends because I don't even have money to order the kind of drink they are ordering. So I won't go at all. That is fear-based. Why don't you go? You don't know what will happen. You may even get drinks for free. You may get food for free. You may get some opportunity. Somebody may even fall in love with you. Just go. Don't be afraid. Fear not. The fourth one is inadequacy in a partnership. Some people, even in their marriage, in business partnership, in friendship, there's always this feeling of inadequacy. So they'll go and borrow to make up, go and borrow to dress up, go and borrow to pretend in a partnership so that they can be at par. And perhaps that person you're trying to impress doesn't even really care. At the end of the day, for example, if it's impressing a husband, so you get the husband. And on the night of the honeymoon, you now take off your makeup and take off your wig. And here you are. Where is the inadequacy? If he loves you eternally, he loves you. And that's it. It's nothing to do with your wig. It's nothing to do with your makeup. It's about loving you. It's about the mental thoughts. I mean, we have people who are so natural that other people may see them and say, oh, but what has she done? What has she got on her head? What dress is she wearing? But she's feeling free and she's happy and she's a free spirit. And somebody absolutely falls in love with her for that. So inadequacy in a partnership also is based on fear. Fear of not being able to belong, fear of not being loved, fear of not being wanted, fear of being different from the rest. The last one is just an example. It's moving back to your parents' home. I know a lot of people won't leave their marriage because they don't want to move back home. Where will I go? Let me stay here, even if he beats me up, even if he kicks me around and abuses me emotionally. I don't want to go back to my parents' home. Fear of what people will say if I go back home. I'm a failure if I do that. For some people, it's fear of going back home and people thinking you've lost your job, you didn't do well in life and all that. So basically, what we are saying is don't approach life from fear. Fear is the worst thing that should motivate you to take any action. In the Bible, fear is mentioned 365 times, one for each day. Don't let fear be your motivating factor. Don't. Because even when we talk about some kind of, let's say, fear, like a big dog chasing you and you run, trust me, you don't think twice before you run. That's just survival. You just do it. But this kind of fear that, percolates in you and makes you do things you shouldn't do, or things that go against your own grain, your spirit, your true north, that GPS in you that is saying go north, but fear makes you go south. Let's not do that. Let's look at the alternative.
I'm wondering, but how does this become an approach to wealth?
Don't be fearful about getting wealthy. Immediately we talked about wealth. I know before the program, a number of people were thinking about how to get rich quick, how to double money, how to triple money. It was all about money and cash and trying to do that. Why? It's because we think it will solve all problems. I think you mentioned in one of the quotes that money solveth all problems. It's not money itself that will solve it. It is what it can do. Because we've seen people who've won the lottery, millions of dollars, and within a year, they are worse off than when they even won the lottery. So it is what you can do with it. We've seen people who've gotten money and become drug addicts, become alcoholics, become party goers non-stop, loss of responsibility. So it's not the money itself, but what it can do. And we are saying, don't be so fearful that you use the wrong approach to gain wealth. That wealth is not sustainable. If today you are so fearful of being poor and you decide that I'm going to package cocaine and take abroad, darling, it's only a few years, you'll be busted and you'll be sitting in jail. It is not sustainable. Don't let fear motivate you to use the wrong path to attain wealth. If we look at the sustainable wealth generation, we will find that it is something which is easier. It is less stressful. It's about loving life and being grateful, gratitude each day for anywhere that we are. So being grateful for life, and I always say, start with focusing on your breath. Thanking universe that you even have breath, breathing in and breathing out. It is so wonderful. I mean, for those of you who've gone through childbirth, if you went through the classes before, or even if you didn't, at the point of bearing that child, that labor, you will hear the nurses telling you, breathe, breathe, and it eases the pain. Breathing gives you oxygen into your brain. It allows you to think of different ideas, different solutions. You start to align with the solution rather than aligning with the problem. When you breathe, things feel better. I mean, remember many times that we've had problems. Some of our friends hold us and say, breathe, breathe, calm down, breathe. And sometimes we think they are being stupid and we say, what do you mean by calm down? Da, 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 da. But it's actually the solution. Calm down and breathe. Remind yourself that first and foremost, you are spirit having an earthly experience. Be present. Be present. Be in the now, where nothing is amiss. Right now, as we speak, if I ask any one of you, is anything disturbing your mind, worrying, of concern to you? Many of you are going to say, yes, I have to fix dinner. So time, I'll be going out soon. I'm going out tomorrow. I have to think about my clothes. Everything you will say will be about future. It will not be about now, this very second and moment that we are in. Once you came onto the program, now you are in the program, with the program, and you are focused there. If your mind is elsewhere, you are missing so much. You are not in the now. There's a lot to gain by being in the now, where nothing is amiss. As we speak now, none of us is dying. None of us is losing life. We are in the perfect place now. The next thing is appreciating goodness and mercy of the universe. Somebody will say, yeah, I have nothing to be thankful for. I don't even have money in my purse. I don't even know how I'll get to work tomorrow. These children, I don't know how they will eat. But just take a look around you. You have a roof over your head. If you go outside, you will see trees. If you go to the beach, you will see the sea. Rivers are flowing. You know, I went to a show one day at the State House, and KSM, one of Ghana's greatest stand-up comedians, was there. And he told us a joke about how Ghanaians and Nigerians, it's always about Ghanaians and Nigerians, right? We are brothers and sisters. The way we pray, and we'll come against the devil, and we'll do this, and we'll shout, and we'll carry on for hours. And yet, other people in other countries who perhaps have what they already have will rather start thanking God for the birds and the trees and the world so sweet and all that. And we all had a good laugh. But he was so right. He was so right. Because we are so focused on our problems, we don't even stop to smell the roses. We don't smell the coffee. We are constantly negative about everything around us. We don't dwell on good reports until there is a true situation like terminal illness. Then all of a sudden we stop and start saying, oh my goodness, I didn't even get a chance to read this book, or I didn't even get a chance to watch this movie. Now we start being careful.